Welcome to Greetings from Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary, as we come to you from the Dairy Queen, located off Route 94, a longtime staple in the community, 50 years. It's the first franchise to be operated in Vernon Township. We now have Burger King and Taco Bell, but it's been here 50 years. And later on in the show, we're going to talk to the owner, Al, about the shop and what it has to offer. But tonight, we're going to start off at the show with a story on Suez Water, main title sponsor of Greetings from Vernon. We appreciate what they do. Well, the CEO of North American Operations came to town, and we caught up with him, and he gave us an update what Suez is doing these days.
My name is Gernath. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Suez North America. And let me tell you briefly about Suez. So Suez is an international company, one of the world leader in environmental services. We've got major operations in Europe, Africa, Middle East, Asia, Australia, South America, and North America. And in North America, we have about 7,000 employees in North America, servicing both the municipal sector and communities like Vernon, here, servicing counties, servicing big cities, and servicing industrial customers.
Now, many years ago, Suez bought United Water, brand name changed, but United Water's in Vernon. Just talk about that change there and what services you're offering the people of Vernon.
And Dan, you're making a great point. As Suez, we're very, very proud of being part of the local community. And we are, in whatever local community that we serve, we are here for the long term. And you did mention the name change. So Suez acquired what was United Water in 2000. So that's a while ago. But some of our customers, some of the local residents, may have noticed a name change. Name change from United Water to Suez. And this is a worldwide branding, and it goes back to the root of the company. Our company is actually the one that about 165 years ago built, financed, and designed the Suez Canal. So we wanted to get back to those roots and use a constant name all across the world, and we've done it here in Vernon. So that's why you can see trucks going around, the local communities, the neighborhoods, serving the community of Vernon, bearing the name Suez. If you were to go in France, you would see the same trucks. If you were to go in other places in New Jersey, you would see the exact same branding and same trucks.
Now, what's new or anything new on the horizon with Suez as far as technology? Because that always changes every day.
That's a great question. Technology innovation is very, very important for Suez, but it's innovation just not for the sake of innovation. It is innovation to serve our customers, to better interact with our customers, to better serve you, to better serve the local community.
Now, is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, again, being here for the long term, being a member of being entrenched in the local community and serving our customers as well as we can, and not just meeting the regulation but exceeding the regulations, providing quality service is what we are very proud of. And we are very proud of our folks here, our team, and how dedicated they are to serve the local community.
All right, Suez does so much up in the Highland Lakes area, Barry Lakes, right behind us in Vernon Hills. They're a great water company involved in the community. Want to thank Matt Biangini, a Vernon resident. He got us help with the sponsorship and set up the interview with the CEO. So Matt's a great guy, and we want to thank him. Before we go to break, we want to thank the Vernon Township Education Association, the local teachers union, longtime sponsors here in Greetings of Vernon, and we want to thank them for their sponsorship. And we'll be back with more stories about Vernon right after this.
A glass of water, so simple, and yet so complex. Simple because all we have to do is turn on a tap. Complex because to get clean, healthy, good-tasting water, nature needs to help. And that help comes from here, the Hallworth Water Treatment Plant. This state-of-the-art plant is the largest water facility in the country that utilizes high-rate dissolved air flotation, or DAF, and is a vital component in consistently providing its over 800,000 customers in North Jersey with outstanding quality drinking water that meets or exceeds all state and federal water quality standards. In fact, the Hallworth Water Treatment Plant has been a technological leader in water treatment for over 40 years. First brought online in 1964, the plant served as a 50 million gallon per day conventional water treatment plant. The initial 5-step water treatment process at that time included aeration, coagulation, flocculation, settling, chlorine disinfection, and filtration with a mix of anthracite and sand. But as the population of North Jersey grew, so did its clean water needs. That's why in 1988, United Water initiated its first major upgrade of the Hallworth facility. The capacity was expanded from 50 million gallons per day to 200 million gallons, and the Hallworth Water Treatment Plant became one of the first in the country to use ozone as a pre-treatment. By pre-treating the water with ozone, the same form of oxygen that filters UV rays from sunlight, United Water was able to kill bacteria, many waterborne viruses, and institute taste and odor control earlier in the treatment process. This advanced technology allowed United Water to serve its customers well for over 20 years. However, by 2004, it became clear that in order to meet the growing water needs of the Hudson and Bergen County communities, the plant needed to evolve further. This was the result of a variety of factors. First, new, tougher, safe drinking water regulations from the federal government. Second, the original ozone system from the 1980s was aging and would need to be replaced. Third, the shallow depth of the Oradell Reservoir, which creates significant problems in the filtration system. Fortunately, United Water did not have to look far for its new system. As a member of the Suez Environment family of companies, United Water turned to its sister company, Tegramont, where engineers had perfected the DAF water treatment process. The DAF process injects a combination of water and air into the water being treated. This creates thousands of bubbles which capture microscopic sediment and float it to the top where it can be efficiently removed. This eco-friendly process also lowers the amount of chlorine that is needed, resulting in far less byproducts. When used in conjunction with new ozone and chlorine contact systems as well as traditional filtration, DAF enables United Water to provide its New Jersey customers with better tasting, higher quality drinking water than ever before. These new upgrades also help United Water meet increasingly stringent water regulations, enhance service reliability, reduce chemical and energy usage, improve water quality in the Oradell Reservoir, and maintain wetlands and other environmentally sensitive areas. With the new upgrades, United Water continues its commitment to constantly improve water quality and sustain the environment in northern New Jersey for generations to come.
Welcome back to Greens for Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary. We're coming to you from the Dairy Queen. That's right. It's going to be Dairy Queen weather. It's always Dairy Queen weather, folks. And they always have great ice cream here. They have food, pulled pork sandwiches, hot dogs. There's a great array, and they're back open again, getting ready for that hot weather. And so am I. Hopefully the summer does come. We had a glimpse of it earlier in the month, but it's been cold. So get out there once the weather warms up. Come here and get some great food here at Dairy Queen. Well, Frank Garrity. That's a name you might know if you listened to SUS in the 80s. He was a big part of the radio station, part of Video 8. It was a groundbreaking guy as far as communications up here in the area. He also does the football games at Vernon High School. But recently, he was inducted into the Seton Hall University Radio and Broadcasting Hall of Fame, and we talked to Frank about that great honor.
It was a great honor, Dan. Kind of a surprise to me. I was nominated last year, and made it through the first round of voting, and the person who runs the radio station down there says nobody usually makes it out of the first round to the second round their first year. So he kind of said it would be, a matter of time, and the time came this year. But, to be amongst the people from WSOU, which is the Seton Hall radio station, which has such a rich history and tradition of doing great radio. And there's only 20 or 25 people that are in the Hall of Fame. So to get the honor and to be there with people like Bob Lee from ESPN, Bob Picozzi, who does a lot of basketball for ESPN. It's just one of the thrills of my career so far.
Now, you're a man that's been in this business for a long time. You're still on radio. Just give everyone a little background And if anyone grew up in Sussex County in the 80s, they knew you from WSUS.
Yeah, indeed. I graduated Seton Hall in 1982, was hired at a small station down in Asbury Park, WJLK, which is still going strong. And I was hired to do the Sunday morning, run the tape programs, the religious programming on Sunday morning. But a week after I got hired to do that, I got a call from Peter Bardock, who owned WSUS along with Jay Edwards, and they wanted to hire me to come up and work full-time at WSUS. And so I did that starting in August of 1982. I started off being the midday person at WSUS and then gradually took over the morning job in 1984. And I was here right through the 1980s. We helped get the local television up and running here in Sussex County with, with Peter and Jay, but I was the morning man, kind of ran the radio station, program director, station manager. Left here in 1991 to work at WPAT down in New York City for 6 years there. And then we got wind that WPAT was going to be changing formats to Spanish. And even with all of my Spanish background, I don't converse very well in Spanish. And I was able to see my career take kind of a 180 at that point, where I had been a music/disc jockey type announcer. I was able to get involved with sportscasting, and I spent 20 years as the evening sportscaster on 1010 Wins in New York City. And in 2017, they had kind of a change in the philosophy of how they wanted to do sports, and I now work for iHeartMedia, so I'm on the air nationally for the NBC News Network, and I also do some of the local Bloomberg stations in New York and Washington and Boston, and also work for a company that iHeart got involved with called ScoreStream, and I produce and write 1-minute pieces on high school sports we're in 52 markets around the country, New York, Los Angeles, Miami. So I'm kind of doing a mishmash of things now, but it's all good. I'm not as exactly focused on New York sports like I was for those 20 years. So it's kind of good at this point in my career.
And you still find the time when you can to announce Vernon football games, basketball games. How much fun is that? It's no high pressure. It's a nice local thing, and you come here and really give the atmosphere a professional sound.
Yeah, I enjoy working with the kids. I enjoy working with Bill Foley, the athletic director, and Bill Edelman. Before that, up here at Vernon. My wife has been a teacher in the Vernon School District for a number of years. So, I took over as the football announcer last year. I run the clock at the basketball games, and I do the senior nights for the fall and the spring. In fact, I was just talking to Bill and getting different dates set up that we'll be doing here in May for senior nights. So I also do the band competition here. They do the marching band competition every September, so I come up and do that for them as well. So it keeps me, I like to be tied in with the community. I do that through doing this with the high school. I'm also very active with St. Francis de Sales Parish here in Vernon. I run the lector ministry there, so I may work in New York City and have to travel out of Sussex County, but I like to keep my feet and my roots firmly planted at the place where I've lived for the last 30 years.
All right, Frank's a great guy, folks. In the 80s, he was all over the place, and as he told you, he's doing national stuff now, but his heart is in the county, and he was a big part when SUS was the place to listen to back in the 80s. We'll have more here on Greetings from Vernon right after these messages, but before we go to break, again, want to thank the Vernon Township Education Association, the local teachers union. They've been a big sponsor on the show for the last couple of years, and we want to thank them for that. And we'll have more from Greetings from Vernon right after this. United Water is now Suez, safe, clean water for the communities they serve. Welcome back to Greetings from Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary. As we said all show long, coming to you from the Dairy Queen, located off Route 94 here in Vernon, an iconic spot. It's been here 50 years. It was the ski areas and then Dairy Queen. It was built by Bob Baldwin, and he owned it for many years. It's got a great tradition, and we spoke to the current owner, Al, about this shop.
Vernon Dairy Queen is part of the community. We do a lot of sponsoring of Little Leagues, softball teams, and community music stuff. The Dairy Queen's been here for 50 years, and that's what we're celebrating this year is our 50-year anniversary.
Yeah, how cool is that? 50 years here. It's our belief it's the first franchise of any kind in Vernon. We have the Burger King and Taco Bell now, but 50 years ago, Bob Baldwin, a well-known name in this area, built this and got it into the community. Just tell us a little bit about that.
So Bob was an innovator in town here. He's done a lot of work here. This Dairy Queen came here probably before the first traffic light was in town. Bob built this for his wife, and they ran it for about 18 years, I believe that was, before they sold it to another person.
Now, obviously, right now, the Little Leagues are practicing probably about a half hour now. This place is going to be inundated with kids and stuff. What are some of the more popular items that the kids like these days?
Oh, blizzards, Oreo blizzards, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup blizzards. Blizzards are pretty much the staple of Dairy Queen.
And just talk about, you said being involved in the community. We just saw a lot of the kids here, all local kids working here. How important is that to employ the local youth?
Well, to me, most of these kids have never had jobs before, so I'm kind of training them on how to, be good employees, and come to work and show up to work on time and work with other people. That's, new to them. So, and it's, kind of part of my give back. I had a job when I was their age, now it's my turn to train them so they can become, good workers in the future.
Yeah, let's talk about, off camera, you said this is the fun job. You've had other jobs in your career. Give us a little background.
Let me say, I started off when I was in high school working at a drugstore in Westwood, New Jersey. I worked there for 8 years. Never left. It was a fun job. They trained a lot of the stuff I trained these kids with. And then I got into the wireless industry. And I built cell towers and switches for 20 years. Crucial, busy job, working all the time. And then I finally had it and said, I'm going to go do something fun. So I bought a Dairy Queen.
And right behind us, people having fun with the batting cages that you put in 2012. Used to be a mini golf.
Mini golf was here for 40 years, from 1971 to 2011. Unfortunately, Hurricane Irene came through here and pushed 2 feet of mud through it, and that was the end of mini golf. So we decided to do something more local. To me, mini golf was a tourist thing. It's what tourists do. The batting cages seem to be more local. A lot of local youth come here, and adults. There's a lot of local adult softball teams and stuff. They all come here and practice. So.
Now, just let everyone know, you guys open 7 days a week. Give everyone your hours and where you're located in case they're watching this online. They're out of town. They might be coming up to Mountain Creek and they say, oh, there's a Dairy Queen in town.
Yeah. We're basically a seasonal Dairy Queen. We open up the last weekend of February, and we're open until the last weekend of October. And we're open pretty much from 11 a.m. in the morning until 10 p.m. every night, 7 days a week.
Al's a great guy, folks. Listen to what Al did during those recent snowstorms. He lives in Ramsey. But when the snow came, he stayed here overnight, kept the place open so the guys doing the plowing, the road department guys, the local contractors could come in and have a place to grab a shake, a hot dog. He slept on his cot. That's dedication to the community, and Al's a great guy. Please stop by here at the Dairy Queen. We want to thank him for his time and support of the community. We'll have more here on Greetings from Vernon right after this.
Each year, Americans fill 4 billion prescriptions, but as much as 1/3 of that medication will never be used, generating 200 million pounds of pharmaceutical waste. Some of that waste ends up in the rivers, lakes, and streams that make up our nation's drinking water supply. With no technology available today to remove these prescriptions, proper disposal of unused drugs is our only remedy. The United Water Foundation and the National Community Pharmacists Association have partnered to provide you with a simple solution. Dispose your medications responsibly. Take your unused medications to the pharmacy, or you may be able to obtain a postage-paid mail-back envelope to send them directly from your home. Not only will you be protecting our water supply, you'll help prevent abuse and accidental overdose by both children and adults. Go to disposemymeds.org to find a participating pharmacy and to learn more. Some restrictions may apply, including the return of controlled substances. A public service message from the United Water Foundation and NCPA.
Welcome back to Greetings from Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary, as we come to you from the iconic Dairy Queen here in Vernon, located on Route 94, here 50 years. It's a great place to come, folks, with the warm weather coming. It is coming, I promise you, and you can come down and get some ice cream. Well, it's prom season, graduation season, and in Vernon Township Police Department, Vernon Township High School, this is a time they tell their students, don't drink and drive, don't do drugs, have fun, be safe. Well, in conjunction with the police department, the high school, and State Farm, they brought in a great speaker to speak to the seniors and juniors at the high school, Bobby Petrocelli, and here's a story on that.
At State Farm, we support a lot of different programs, both on a national and on a local level, and our hope is to create safer, stronger, better educated communities. So we provide a lot of grants to different organizations that bring educational programs to schools and just different communities. So Bobby has a really powerful story. He was a victim of a drunk driving crash, and he speaks to students about that, but it's so much more than that. He also talks to them about being confident, making good decisions, and really getting help if they need it, if they're having issues going on in their lives. So it's really a good way to empower students, be inspirational, and I tell you, his program really has been impactful for a lot of students throughout New Jersey and throughout the country.
Every year we try to do something different with the kids at the high school, just to get in touch with them, let them know that the police department is here for them. We have a great partnership with State Farm Insurance, luckily, and this is the second time they've brought a guest speaker in for us. Some years we do the mock car accident reconstruction. We just took a different approach this year. We're excited about it. We're going to see how it goes.
I'm a speaker, an author, an educator, a motivator. I bring inspiration all over this nation, and I love doing it. And my heart is real simple. As I even got to talk to Mr. Tony earlier, there's so much in this nation we go after behaviors, and we go after symptoms. My desire is to go after the whys behind the whats. In other words, Dan, everybody in this world has been hurt at one point in their life. They've been broken. Things didn't go well. Something happened to them. They were abused. Whatever the word is, my goal is to help people understand the whys behind the what and what drives me to make the choices we make or I make or anybody else makes. And here's the simplicity. Everybody in this world wants to know they matter, they are worth it, they have value, they're loved, they're wanted, they're included. And the simplicity of it is they will run to whatever it takes for the moment to numb the pain of the hurt that tells them they don't matter. And the reality is more often than not, they run to something negative that may not only hurt them, but may hurt somebody else in the long run.
Just talk about how important it is to get that message through to young people you hear at Vernon High School today.
Well, the reality is I'm honored because the responses I get, I got one response just today from one of the schools I was at, and the person who brought me in sent me one of the responses, and one of the students said, they asked him, how did this help you? And his exact words were, I felt useless and I felt worthless until Bobby came and did the assembly. And after the assembly, he made me realize how valuable I am, how important I am, and what happened to me in the past does not have to define who I am.
So what's a general idea of what we're going to see today from your assembly?
I'll use a little humor, have a little fun with the kids, but I'll go after their heart. And I'll help them understand that who and what have been defining you after all these years. My goal is to help them understand that you are not who you are by what has happened to you. You are who you are because of your individuality, your own talent, your own fingerprints, footprints, and DNA. Tell me you're one of a kind. So what I say to students is be yourself. Everybody else is already taken.
Boy, that guy Bobby, he's got a ton of energy, a great message, and like I said, be safe, folks. Have fun. Don't drink and drive. Don't do drugs. It sounds cliche coming from an old guy, but you can have fun. Be safe. I want to thank Captain Dan Young from the Vernon Township Police Department for setting this up, along with Jennifer Young of State Farm. We appreciate all their help. We'll have more here on Greetings from Vernon right after this. But again, want to thank the Vernon Township Education Association, the local teachers union, for being a sponsor for the last 2 years here on Greetings from Vernon.
Each year, Americans fill 4 billion prescriptions, but as much as 1/3 of that medication will never be used, generating 200 million pounds of pharmaceutical waste. Some of that waste ends up in the rivers, lakes, and streams that make up our nation's drinking water supply. With no technology available today to remove these prescriptions, proper disposal of unused drugs is our only remedy. The United Water Foundation and the National Community Pharmacists Association have partnered to provide you with a simple solution. Dispose your medications responsibly. Take your unused medications to the pharmacy, or you may be able to obtain a postage-paid mail-back envelope to send them directly from your home. Not only will you be protecting our water supply, you'll help prevent abuse and accidental overdose by both children and adults. Go to disposemymeds.org to find a participating pharmacy and to learn more. Some restrictions may apply, including the return of controlled substances. A public service message from the United Water Foundation and NCPA.
Welcome back to Greetings from Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary, coming to you from the Dairy Queen. All that good food. I have to go in and get some ice cream. Maybe I'll get Alec Bello, our cameraman. We'll get him a cone. He's doing such a good job. Alec's just looking at me like I'm a moron. But coming to you from the Dairy Queen, great place. And we were up at the high school the other day for Bobby Petrocelli. Another big news coming out of the high school about a month ago. Chuck Tepper announced that he was retiring as the football coach of Vernon. Chuck's a good friend of mine, longtime friend, 21 years in the business coaching at Vernon. He's going to still teach, but he's stepping down as a football coach. And Vernon hired a new coach, former Newton assistant Steve Down. And we talked to Steve about taking over the program.
We're real excited. We had a great interview process. We had the town programs president in, myself, Superintendent Di Benedetto, and principal, and Matt Ferguson, former football coach for us. And we had a great cast there, and we had a lot of great people apply, and we whittled it down. And Steve, coming from Newton, off of what they just did this past season, and just of recent, really did a great job in the interview process, and we feel like we really got a good kid.
As a young kid, you dream about these opportunities, and like when I got the job, I'm thrilled, excited, can't wait to get to work.
Just talk about when you heard the job open, your thought process. Obviously, coming off a great year at Newton, winning a state title as an assistant coach. Talk about the decision to try to take over your own program.
It's been something I've been looking forward to do for a while, and even over the last 2 to 3 years. And then when Coach Barzero came in, it's only helped me get maybe more confident as a coach. Some of the things that I learned from him were great, and even when the opportunity came, I spoke with him about it. In terms of picking his brain and making a jump like that, and he's been nothing but a good mentor, and he's excited for the opportunity for me. So kind of that whole process was exciting, going through that.
Take us through your goals, what you want to do with this program.
We want to get him back to the top. I mean, I always say that I look at the group that we're in, and it's the group last year was Group 3, and I always compare to the top teams in the group, and we want to work as hard as we can, to make Vernon one of the top football teams in the state. And I'm not going to lie about that. That's what we want to do, and there's no shortcut to it. We I told the kids when I met with them that we got to work. It's not easy. We got to stack up all the good days and work every day and getting better each day.
Do you have a coaching philosophy? What you want to bring to the table as far as offense and defense and overall?
Yeah, it's interesting. You kind of take pieces from the coaches you worked with or the coaches and one of the things that first and foremost is working with Coach Barzero. They have the wing tee tradition, so that's something that our run game will be gap scheme oriented with some wing tee blocking schemes, but. Going to Paramus High School, I never coached with Coach Dan Sabella, who's now at Paramus Catholic, but my brothers played at the time, and I was working as a freshman baseball coach over there, and I got to really get to know his plays and his playbook. So a lot of his offense meshed together with Coach Barzero's offense is kind of what we'll be. So it kind of has that balance attack, run pass. Wing tee blocking schemes, and spread formation. So we'll be multiple. I definitely want to evaluate the talent first and foremost, and give our talented kids a chance to succeed.
And just talk about how excited you are. You're going to be in the weight room now. You're officially the coach. You can get things going.
Yeah, it's funny because the whole process of the interviews, and then you got to meet with the athletic director, and then you got to meet the team, and then you're going to meet the parents. And that stuff's all great, but you're at the point now where it's like you want to just get going. You coach to. You want to get the practices, and that's the stuff I'm looking forward to. I know as coaches, that's what we all love, is the actual coaching part of it. But you got to go through all these steps to get there. But we just I think the kids were excited when we met. I just want to generate that passion and excitement for them, and I can't wait to get going.
I know it's an exciting time with a new coach, but let's look back. What great things Chuck Tepper did here for Vernon. Over 20 years, he brought the Vernon's only league title, got them into the state tournament 4 or 5 times. Just talk about what Chuck did on and off the field that really was great for Vernon football.
Yeah, Chuck's been fantastic. Been here for 20 years. The one thing you can tell with Chuck's kids, they leave here. They're great character kids, disciplined kids, respectful. He established that from the beginning, and always molded great men out of his athletes. And he's going to be missed, but he's going to stay on teaching. Again, well respected amongst other coaches in the county, outside of the county, officials. Just a class act all around.
We wish the best of luck to Steve. Seems like he's got a lot of energy, and he's going to bring that to Vernon. Hopefully he'll get things turned around. And again, I want to thank Chuck Tepper. What a great job. I know The record hasn't been great the last few years, but Chuck did a great job at Vernon. He's a class act. I'm a little biased. I went to college with Chuck. I've known him 35 years. He's just a terrific guy. And don't be surprised if Chuck pops up somewhere as an assistant. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Greetings from Vernon. As I said, coming to you from the Dairy Queen. We want to thank the Vernon Township Education Association and especially Suez. You've been a title sponsor here for the last few years. They've been with us since the beginning. Want to thank them. But a lot of good events coming up here in Vernon. Vernon Day is June 3rd. They're looking for vendors. It's also going to be a food truck day. So there'll be a lot of good eats. So you can contact the Vernon PAL about Vernon Day. Just a lot of good things coming up. And again, enjoy your time with graduations and confirmations and communions. This is a great time of the year to get out in Vernon. And again, if you have an event, you can do it in Vernon. There's plenty of places. You don't have to leave the confines of Vernon to find what you need for entertainment. And again, you know, the Appalachian Trail as well. It's a 4-season resort town, Vernon. Please come and enjoy it. I know everyone in town knows about it. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We'll be back next month with a new edition of Greetings from Vernon. I'm your host, Dan Cleary. Good night, everyone.